In this lesson, we're going to be looking at how to find the circumference of a circle. Now, you'll need to refer to the question sheet, which I've put on Go for Schools, and there's also a link on your checklist. Here are your do now questions. Have a go at them, pause the video. When you're ready for the answers, press play. Here are the answers. So number 1, the surface area of the triangular prism. You needed to find the area of each surface. So we have 2 triangles, front and back, that have an area of 24. We then have that sloping side that is 10 by 5, so that's 50. We have the left-hand side, which is 6 times 5, which is 30, and we have the base, which is 40. You then add those together, giving you a total answer of 168 meters squared. What 2D shape makes up a net of a cylinder? So for a cylinder, you actually have 2 circles and a rectangle, because it's the rectangle that's folded round to make the cylinder shape. To make A the subject of the formula y equals 3a, we needed to undo the 3, so we needed to divide by 3. So y divided by 3 equals a, and remember, when we're using algebra, we write a divide like a fraction. And finally, to convert £50 into dollars, well, we can see that when we're going from pounds to dollars, we're multiplying by 1.30. So 1.30 times 50 is 65. Now let's look at how to find the circumference of a circle. So the circumference is the distance around the outside of a circle. And the formula we use for that is circumference is equal to pi d. Now pi is just a number, it's roughly 3.142, and so what this means is the circumference is equal to pi multiplied by the diameter. So if we had a circle with a diameter of 16 centimetres, we would use the formula C equals pi d, and we would multiply pi by 16. Now, if we were asked to leave our answer in terms of pi, this would be a non-calculator answer. We just need to do pi times 16, which is 16 pi. But if it was a calculator paper, we would then type that answer into a calculator, so 16 times pi, or 16 times 3.142 if you can't find the pi button, and that would give an answer of 50.272 centimetres. Now in this example, we've been asked to find the circumference of a circle with a radius of 4 centimetres. Now the radius is only half a diameter, so using the formula pi times the diameter, what we need to do is double that 4 to go all the way across the circle. So pi times 8 in terms of pi as a non-calculator answer is 8 pi centimetres. If I were asked for the answer as a calculator in decimal format, then I would type that into a calculator, 8 times pi, or 8 times 3.142, and that would give an answer of 25.13 centimetres. Here are 2 questions for you to try. Press pause and have a go at them. For the first one, just leave your answer in terms of pi, and for part B, round your answer to 2 decimal places. When you're ready for the answer, press play. Here are the answers. So for number 1, pi times 22 is 22 pi. The second one, we were only given the radius, so we needed to double that. So we would do pi times 12, which is 12 pi. And then to give our answers to 2 decimal places in part B, for the first one, 22 times pi is 69.12 centimetres. And for the second one, 12 times pi is 37.70 centimetres. We needed it to 2 decimal places, so that second one was 37.69 something, but that rounded it up to 0.70. Now try question 1 on your worksheet, and the answers are also at the end of the worksheet. You can check them. When you're ready for the next section, you can press play. So in this example, we're going to be working backwards. We've been given the circumference of the circle. We've been told that the distance around the outside is 14 pi, and we need to find the radius. So again, we're going to use this formula. Pi, circumference is pi times diameter. So to find the diameter of this circle, we're going to work backwards by dividing our circumference by pi. So the circumference is 14 pi, we were told that in the question. And so the diameter is just 14, because 14 divided by pi is just 14. Now we needed the radius and not the diameter. So the diameter goes all the way across the circle. The radius is only halfway across the circle. So we halve 14 to give the radius of 7 centimetres. Now you can try question 2 and 3 on the worksheet. Again, you can check your answers, and then when you're ready for the last section, you can press play. Now this question is a lot harder. So if you're not comfortable yet with finding the full circumference of a circle, then I suggest you practice that more. But this is the next step of that. This time we're finding the perimeter of a sector, and a sector is part of a circle. Now the formula that we use looks a bit complicated, but actually it's not too bad. So looking at this, you think, gosh, that looks really complicated. But let's break it down. So we have the angle of the sector over 360. So what that means is we're not dealing with a full circle. A full circle is 360 degrees, and we've only been given 216 degrees. So that's the fraction of the circle that we're finding the perimeter of. So we're doing that fraction times pi d, which has got something to do with the circumference. Now when we do that, it only takes us around the curved edge of that shape. So the next thing we need to do is add on a radius and another radius. Okay, so we have the fraction of the full circle. Times means of, so we want a fraction of the circumference, and we're going to add on the straight sides. So let's have a look at this example again. So using that, we're going to find the fraction of the circumference. So we have 216 divided by 360, so that's the fraction, times pi times 14, because 14 would be the diameter of that circle. And that gives a curved edge of 26.39. And then the last step is to add on those two straight sides. So we then add 7 to give a total perimeter of this shape of 40.39 centimetres. Now, if you're happy to have a go at those, you can try the last question on the worksheet. Now, the first two, you haven't been given an angle, but the first one, half a circle is 180 degrees. So your fraction is 180 divided by 360 times pi d plus 5 plus 5. The second one, you've been given a quarter of a circle, which is 90 degrees. So the fraction is 90 over 360 times pi d, and the diameter would be 16, plus 8 plus 8. And the last one, 120 over 360 times pi times the diameter, which would be 26, plus 13 plus 13. Now, if you have any questions at all with those, you can join me live at your normal lesson time, or you could email me for extra help.